Alton Towers, the UK's biggest theme park, the place where millions visit a year from around the world just to experience thrills and excitement. Alton Towers got their first roller coaster in 1980, being the Corkscrew, which still stands at the entrance today. And then we had Mini Apple, New Beast, Black Hole, Four-Man Bob, Alton Mouse, Thunderlooper, and then the legendary Nemesis in 1994. Nemesis is a one-of-a-kind roller coaster. It's one of the major rides which really put Alton Towers on the map. So let's go over the entire history of this beloved coaster. But just before we start, make sure to subscribe, ensuring that button is grey, not red, and also don't forget to like the video if you enjoy, and leave me a comment about your thoughts on Nemesis. Anyway, in the early 1990s, the idea of Nemesis began when Alton Towers decided that they needed to make a revolutionary coaster which will wow the public. The way they did this was by getting the man himself, Mr. John Wardley, on the case. Now, if you don't know who John Wardley is, then firstly, wow. But he is a renowned roller coaster designer from the United Kingdom who has created rides all around the world, and each and every one of them have blown the public away when opening. In simple terms, Wardley is a ride designing legend.
My name's John Wardley, and I was the original designer of Nemesis, the very first person ever to ride around the track.
So, the team at Alton Towers decided Nemesis should be a Bolliger and Mabilliard steel inverted coaster. This is because there is no inverted roller coasters in Europe at the time. But Nemesis was not always going to be a B&M roller coaster. The Nemesis we know and love now was codenamed Secret Weapon 3 when it was being built, but despite its name, it was actually the first Secret Weapon roller coaster to ever open. So what happened to Secret Weapon 1 and 2? Originally, Alton Towers approached Aerodynamics for their pipeline coaster to go where Nemesis is now. This was known as Secret Weapon 1. Due to issues with Secret Weapon 1, it would have only 300 meters in the track length, and John Wardley was not happy with this. The project was then put on hold for almost a year. But when the project was revived again, it was now under the codename Secret Weapon 2. But this project was then abandoned as John Wardley rode the prototype that Arrow created for him and decided that it was too slow and boring. So they then ditched Arrow and went to B&M to start making Secret Weapon 3. In the 90s, roller coaster development was at an all-time high. Brand new types of rides and attractions were popping up left, right and centre, so Alton Towers hopped on the trend and went for an invert. During the early development stages, John Wardley had written up a storyboard for the ride to be themed around a monster, which the riders must tackle on this beast of a ride.
Nemesis, the awesome new ride at Alton Towers. Sit back, it's fright time.
He designed it down to every last detail. The story is about an alien monster which has crash landed in Alton Towers, where it laid undisturbed for thousands of years. Then something upset the beast, causing it to wreak havoc. The track poses as the chains holding the monster to the ground, and the station itself was carefully and intricately designed to look like the held down monster. The ride also used to feature a river of blood flowing around the landscaping, but this was only short-lived due to it affecting local wildlife. The track was also hollow, unlike some B&M roller coasters where the track is filled with sand. The hollow track was decided on as it would sound like the Nemesis beast was roaring as the ride vehicle passes by. And the name Nemesis came from the marketing director Nick Varney, who was working with John Wardley at this time. In 1993, construction began on Nemesis. TNT was used to explode the land around where Nemesis now sits in order to allow the ride to work with the terrain as it traverses its layout, giving the riders the feeling that their feet are going to be smashed against the rocks by this aggressive monster.
Wow! You really think your feet are going to crack against the rock?
And fun fact, the rocks around Katanga Canyon at Alton Towers are mostly debris from the terrain work done on Nemesis. Now we fast forward to March the 19th, 1994, and Nemesis finally opened to the public for the first time ever.
Ross, there's a little thing we just want you to do now whilst you're there. There's a new kiddies ride right? It's a kiddie's ride. It's a kiddie's ride. It's called Nemesis.
I went up to Alton Towers to test out the new ride, Nemesis.
We can show you the brand new £10 million ride at Alton Towers. At Alton Towers, Rivers of Blood and the Panto opening for Nemesis, their new ride.
It was an immediate success with the guests, and it gained lots of attention from roller coaster enthusiasts worldwide due to its unique layout, features, and theme. Along with the opening of Nemesis, a comic was released to the public for a short time explaining the backstory of the ride. As only a limited number of these were ever released, I can't find any for sale, but I'd assume that they won't be cheap to buy. A Nemesis drink was also released at this time, being sold at Alton Towers and other places around the UK in order to advertise the ride. Fast forward 20 years to 2014, and this day was a special day, as it was Nemesis's 20th anniversary. It was still as loved as it was the day it opened, and this special occasion was marked with limited edition merchandise to celebrate its 2 decades of operation. The same thing happened in 2019 for its 25th anniversary, with a big celebration and limited time merch. John Wardley was also there for its big day. However, it all changed in 2022. It was announced the ride will be closing down. After 28 years of operation, it was all coming to a grinding halt. But actually, it's not. The Phalanx then went ahead and made a public announcement that the ride will be closing down for a retrack.
By order of the Phalanx, as you may or may not be aware, Nemesis is closing.
And if you don't know who the Phalanx are, it's basically a team of scientists and soldiers who are all investigating Nemesis. And I can tell you for a fact, Nemesis went out with a bang. The final day of his operation was a full-scale Phalanx takeover, with armed Phalanx guards patrolling around Nemesis, scientists taking samples and cleaning everything infected wearing full hazmat suits. It was absolutely surreal. To continue the Nemesis story whilst the ride was closed, Nemesis Subterra, which is an indoor scare and drop tower attraction, reopened. Nemesis Subterra closed down in June 2015 and came back at the start of the 2023 season fully refurbished to follow the story that the Nemesis egg has been found. And you can go and view the theme here in Subterra. I won't spoil any more of the ride, but Subterra is absolutely brilliant. I could not recommend it more. And now all that's left to do is stand on the observation platform watching the brand new Nemesis track being installed. Although it's a different design to the original track, it's beginning to grow on me. The old track was white and had a unique look to it, whereas the new track is black, but it's also covered in red veins. Now, something absolutely awesome about this new track design is the veins glow in the dark. We know this because of a video the Phalanx put out where some soldiers were guarding the glowing track whilst it was in storage. What do you think of the new track? Let me know in the comments. Even whilst Nemesis is still being built, they have gone all out on the theming. The crane which is used to lower the track pieces into place is marked as the Phalanx Aerial Support Unit, and all of the lorries which deliver the track to Alton Towers are all covered in the Phalanx logos. It's safe to say Alton Towers are not going slow on this marketing and theming, and I cannot wait to see how the ride looks when it's fully constructed. I'm sure there is plenty more of the Nemesis story yet to uncover, so stick around on my YouTube and TikTok channels to be the first to find out. That's about all from me today. Make sure you're subscribed if you enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.